Hey guys, welcome to my world, and if you've been watching all of my videos in this series already, welcome back to my world, where today we're going to be looking at the setblock command and the fill command, which is really quite exciting since these two commands are the first ones we've looked at that can actually alter the terrain of our Minecraft world. So let's go ahead and get started with those new commands. Alright everyone, so to get started, let's go ahead and use the setblock command before we use the fill command, since this one is the more basic of the two. So we have the command pulled up on our chat, and we can see all of the different arguments that we can pass. Now, since this is the first time we're using this command, we're just going to use the required arguments. So we're going to use setblock, we're going to pass it an x, y, and z coordinate, and then a block that we want to use for our setblock command. We're not going to worry about these other brackets right now because we're going to do that in a more advanced video just a little bit later on. So let's get started with the very basics by typing out setblock. And then we're going to use those relative coordinates that we've learned from past videos. And then we're going to pass the block we want to set. Now, we're standing on a bunch of grass and it looks really boring. So let's use something a little more interesting and type out something like, I don't know, nether brick. Okay, let's press enter. And there we go. We just set a block using the setblock command and relative coordinates. Now, what if you don't want to place the block where you were standing? Well, obviously, you wouldn't want to use relative coordinates, or at least the plain relative coordinates, as in just the tildes. So let's go ahead and open up the chat and press up on our keyboard to bring up the last command we ran, and let's alter that y coordinate by adding 4 blocks to it. If we press enter and look up, we'll see that we've now placed that block above us. So we used relative coordinates just like we did with this first block, only instead of using the exact y position where we were standing, we used that position plus 4 blocks to place this one. So that's how you use the setblock command in Minecraft. Okay, we're ready to look now at the fill command, which is exactly the same as the setblock command, only it takes 2 sets of coordinates instead of 1. Now, what this will do is we can specify one location and then specify a second location, and then the command will literally fill every block between those 2 points with whatever block we pass to it as an argument. So if we go ahead and just build this up, we can see that we are filling in this area. Now this is exactly what the fill command does, only instead of doing it one block at a time like we have to if we're doing it manually, it does it instantly. This is an extremely powerful command for doing things such as building walls or anything that you can imagine, really, when it comes to construction or the altering of terrain in Minecraft. Alright guys, so now that we know how the fill command works, let's go ahead and use it. So let's get on top of this here, and we're going to actually turn this into a wall. So let's stand right here and open up coordinates. And then we can look right here to find our coordinates in this one line here. And we have our X, our Y, and our Z. And we're going to type out the fill command. And we don't need to press enter to see all the syntax because I have it displayed here on the screen. If you want to, go ahead. But we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the setblock command. If you think about it like that, you really learn 2 commands in one. And that's much easier. So let's go ahead and use that logic and type out our X coordinate here, which is 220. And if you press decimal and then add 5, that will center it on that exact block. So that's a nice little tip that you guys can use if you want. So I'm going to do the same thing with the Y, and then the same thing here with the Z. Okay, now what I want to do next is show you guys a cool trick for making this command even easier. If you hold down Control and press A if you're using PC, or if you're using Mac, hold down Command and press A, and then do the same thing and press C instead of A, you can copy that command, you can close that, and then we can close our coordinates so we can see, and then go somewhere, I don't know, over here, and place the location for our fill command by simply opening up the chat and then pasting it with Control V or Command V, and then using relative coordinates to put in the second location. Now this makes it much easier because, as you can tell, we don't have to open up our coordinates and then look at the next set, we can simply just use our location. So let's set this back to nether brick, since that's what we used over there, and then press enter, and we now have a nether brick wall that was built in a single second. Okay, so now that we have this wall that just was built in an instant, which is really exciting, let's go ahead and do something even more exciting, which is doing the exact same thing we did just a second ago, only instead of making a very thin wall, we're going to make an actual giant square. So we already have the coordinate from this block right here, so we can go all the way over here and then try and line up here to make it a perfect square because I have OCD and I'm like that. And then bring that command up and then actually just press enter. And now we have that giant nether brick square, which is really awesome. Now I want to show you guys just one last thing before we close this tutorial, which is you can use this fill command to actually remove blocks. Now, you might be wondering, how would you do that with a fill command since it fills things? Well, you can fill it with an air block. So if we use the command we just did, going back to this relative position here, since we use that as our second set of coordinates, which is like right here, and then instead of using nether brick, we just use an air block, it will literally erase everything that we just did with the fill command. Alright guys, you now know how to use the setblock command and the fill command, which is extremely exciting. If you think about how far we've come in just, I think, 8 videos? We're now placing 4,000 or so blocks with a single command. This is awesome. And to make it even better, in the next video, we're going to learn how to use the clone command. And the way we're going to do it is by cloning this light source right here and pasting another one right here to make a symmetrical entrance to my house because, as I already stated, I have OCD and I am like that. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the very next video where we're going to clone this giant torch to put a second one there using no manual labor, but simply commands. I'll see you guys there.